Good morning. It's second of our Friday fish fries. Welcome, and I'm glad you're here with us this morning. We're in one of the most serene, beautiful places of Northeast Bakersfield. Now, we're mostly desert, but this is a very beautiful place. Now, I'll tell you about it in just a moment. We're here bright and early in the morning. The sun is just coming up over the horizon there, over the beautiful pine trees where we are, and you can see that it's just coming up. But before we get started, I want to tell you a story. The story is about a pastor who pastored a church in New York City for 52 years. And he had pastored that church. He'd taken it over as about 600 and grew to about 5,000. He was one of the best known pastors of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Died at 95 years old. But he tells this story that stuck with me. I read one of his books. It was about a man who came in, a businessman, who came in about once a week or twice a month, and he was continually complaining. Something's bad, business not good, not feeling well, whatever. But he was constantly complaining. And finally, Norman Vincent Peale was the pastor. He finally got a thought. And a man came in, just clockwork, came in one Wednesday morning and was complaining to him. And Dr. Peale said to him, "Hey, let me take you to a place that you can go if you want to go, that is totally serene, totally quiet, no problems whatsoever. It's just a short walk from here. Come on, let's go." And he ushered him out, and they went down out of his office, out of that big marble church, and just a few blocks away, not very far. They talked as they went. They walked, and as they turned the corner and went up this little grade, they came upon this beautiful cemetery. And Dr. Peale says, there it is. There's the only place in America that any place anywhere that there's no problems, it's totally peaceful, totally quiet, and you don't have any problems. And that's where we are this morning. As we look around, what we are is we're in at the northeast location of the nicest cemetery in Bakersfield, Greenlawn. And so I tell you that story because a lot of us, we would like to have a serene, peaceful, quiet life, everything going our way. Well, let me share with you this morning from this book, and I don't know if you have it, but it's a short book, and if you don't have it, I'll post it on Facebook with the video of where you can get it. But it's called The Dash. I want to read a poem that a lady wrote. She just scribbled it out one day. It wasn't a big thing. She sent it to a talk radio, and it became instant success. It has touched millions of lives. I'd like for you to listen to it. It says this: I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dashes on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of her birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said that what mattered most of all was the dash between the years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved her knew what that little line was worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the cash, the house. What matters most is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard, and there are things you'd like to change, for you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way that others feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. We treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? I think that is a very poignant poem for all of us. I know that I have spent over 30 years in sales, and so often I never took time to enjoy the dash of my life. I'd go from one goal to the next, from one quota to the next, from one context to the next, and from one sale to the next, seeking that high that you would get from making the sale. And so often forget the little things in our lives. Norman Vincent Peale says this, in our lives, if we'll throw our hearts over the fence, the rest of us will follow. I'm reminded of a story that's later in this book on the dash, that if you get it, you'll read it, about a man that was in his 80s. He had lost his wife several years earlier, and he was looking for a particular picture. And he was up in the attic of the house they had lived in for years and years, and the kids had all been raised in it. And he was looking for a picture. He couldn't find it. But he stumbled across some diaries of his children, especially his son named Jimmy. And he was looking through it, and he thought to himself, boy, she kept everything. Why did she keep that? And then he thought about, you know, I was a businessman, and I kept a diary in my journal. So he went to a particular year, and he opened up, and he was thumbing through it, and he came to a date. I think it was June 8th, and it said in his journal, wasted the whole day fishing with Jimmy, didn't catch nothing. And then a thought struck him. He said to his son, he said, I wonder what my son said. And he went to the same day in the little boy's diary, and he opened it to June 8th, and he saw these words. Had the best day of my life. I fished all day with Dad. Think about that. You know, one of the great philosophers said that when it's all over, it's not what is etched in a marble stone on our lives, but it is what is woven into the hearts of special friends. Now, as we look around here, we have graves on the ground. We have, where we're standing, we have graves, places for cremation. We have dual markers, graves over there called lawn crypts. Way up in the corner of the cemetery, there are mausoleums, which is above ground entombment. But I say all that to just say this. Folks, it's important that every day of our lives, we just live it to the fullest. Enjoy it to the most. Love those friends, special friends. Love our families. Make every day count. I tell you, today and the rest of my life, however many years the Lord gives me, I am going to spend my life, spend my days making my dash something I'll be glad when they rehash. Thank you. We'll see you next week on Friday's Fish Fry.